years. So it does show, I guess, that segmentation is an exercise that you've got to revisit. It's not something that just, is the same thing consistently. But I will show one segment a little bit later. So it was 375,000 customer accounts I appended Mosaic to, or the Chapter database analyst who was helping me did. One initial real benefit was that we were able to see where we were under and overrepresented in the community. Again, it's only a sample slide, so it's a little bit out of date now, but it does illustrate the point. The outcome around such an approach is to make some, decisions, some economic opportunities in your marketing campaigns. If segments A, B, and C, which you can see are very much overrepresented on the database, if they're our core customers, then if we can find others in those same categories who live in the same geographical areas, roughly, who aren't on our database now, then we have a very strong likelihood of conversion. So you'd start to modify your marketing campaigns accordingly to advertise in particular media that might be geographically specific, maybe community papers, or other kind of geographically specific media, or psychographically aligning it with their attitudes and values as well. Perhaps, for instance, you'd purchase a direct mailing list of certain magazine subscribers for particular magazines that fit with these segments. And they're always useful because so many magazine readers fill out detailed audience surveys, so you're able to get quite distinct information from that. One other possible outcome is a commitment to broadening the type of programming and marketing you're doing. Perhaps you want to ensure representation from a diverse section of our community. This is obviously dependent on whether or not your organisation feels a social responsibility for inclusion. I know many of us obviously do. And that's fine, I guess, as long as you realise that the cost of marketing to those underrepresented segments may not give you the same return as the chaps on the left. In the UK, for instance, arts funding is often dependent on audience mix and diversity of attendance, but that practically means that the cost of acquisition can be quite huge, which is why they sometimes end up giving away the tickets for free. So here's that segmentation profile I mentioned earlier. The Opera House, we were able to kind of build 7 profiles roughly similar to this. So we could kind of get clear patterns of difference, we kind of defining what their cultural background was, what their political leanings were, their leisure and recreation preferences, their affluence, their education. And so how can you practically use that in your marketing? Well, it can help you make decisions around specifics of where you're actually targeting. But more than that, you can start changing your tone of your copy and your imagery, the channels you would use to go to market for them, their likely motivations for attendance, and tapping into those motivations for attendance in what